is it. That do be it. Yeah, I'm ready for the rest of the story. Who's that? I'm talking to right now. I'm not ready for your story yet. Okay, Jared, now you're good. I'm gonna drop it off in an hour, so yeah, I got you. I'm sorry, Derek. I'm ready. I'm sorry. Yeah. Of course there is. Come on.
Okay, and we're live. So sorry, ladies and gentlemen. I am way too late. I profusely apologize for that. I had a fitting because I am going to be in a wedding for my cousin, and it went longer than anticipated. Well, I was going to pick up my suit and then tried it on, and it was a lot smaller than anticipated. So I had to spend an extra half an hour at the shop changing out my attire. But welcome everyone. Thank you guys all so much for stopping by. My name is Eli. If you don't already know, Tuesdays and Thursdays are the days in which we do Q&A for Pokémon USA. Monday, Wednesday, Friday is when we do pre-recorded videos. If you're wondering why the name of the video is the same as Wednesdays, it's just because I've always done it where we just title it the same with Q&A at the end, because usually that's the topic of the discussion. However, doesn't mean you have to be limited to whatever the topic of discussion is. You can ask any and all questions that you may have for me. Doesn't matter the topic. But let's just, once again, before we jump into it, we do weekly giveaways. All you have to do to enter is leave a like, comment down below, subscribe, hit that notification bell. And if you want to join the community, I highly recommend you check all the links down in the description below, specifically our Discord, as we have a ton of awesome individuals who are part of it that are like-minded in terms of their love for Pokemon. But let's jump into it by giving a couple of likes to those people that are here. Poke Department Store, what is up, my guy? Big is here. Poke Collector J is here. TT. Tyrone Smith, Pixel, John Doe. Poke Collector also says, hey, it's my birthday year. Happy birthday year. Guashawan Fullerton, birthday year indeed. Marcus Parkus, what is up, my guy? Nathaniel Bledsoe, good to see you as well. Chris Atliano, I think Black in Bluefins, Tori is here, and Roma Sheets. Thank you guys all so much for stopping by. And let's just jump into it. So, obviously, for yesterday's video, I posted a discussion about basically the price per return for packs. One thing I do want to actually make a correction for, I accidentally used the wrong formula when calculating percentages. So the formula I was supposed to use was taking the sum of both of the values and then finding the difference and then dividing the difference from the original value. So AKA, if the booster box price of a Cosmic was selling for $650, it was not too long ago selling for $400. I then take $250, divide it by 400, which was the original sum. That is the percentage gain that we saw in terms of the value from the booster box. So you may double your value than you did the single packs from Cosmic. So want to make sure I get a clarification for that. I'll probably make a clarification for it in the next video. But ultimately, at the end of the day, the price return was much greater for singles for the Cosmic. However, when looking down the pack price singles for things such as Silver Tempest, when taking a look at that 3.96 minus just straight up 310, that puts you at 0.86, and then divide that by what was the percentage originally, 3.1, that puts you at roughly around a 28% return, versus booster box prices at the time were roughly around 110 for Silver Tempest, minus what they're at right now, 134. Obviously the price difference is 24 divided by 110, that puts us at a 21% difference. So the difference is 21 versus 27%. So point still stands for the most part, other than the Cosmic Eclipse example. It is not as close as it looks, but anyway, so just wanted to kind of point that out there. But let's see if there's any questions that people have so far for the chat. Wow, no likes, come on. Happy birthday, everyone's playing a wave. I'm playing the waves, Quishon says. Managed to snatch a case for 95 pounds. Hey, case of what? Eli is growing in front of our eyes. Going a corp, baby. I am going an S corp. I still need to respond back to your text message. I do apologize about that. For some reason, I'm having live chat issues. I don't know why it is not registering. I think I can't tell if people are chatting or not, but for some odd reason, it is not showing up fully on my screen. The last thing I see is from Ripper the Chipper, but I will just answer all the questions in the meantime. Free dice with $20 in-store purchase. Bro, if you want free dice, I will give you free dice. I've got thousands upon thousands of dice. It's not easy to get. Pixel says, he's late. I'm pissed now. I am so sorry, man. I profusely apologize for being late. I wouldn't be surprised if we had a slower stream this time around, just purely based on the fact that I was late. Obviously, I try to be punctual, if not, 7 minutes late at most. So I do apologize. It's funny, like, in terms of my life, I'm usually like super busy with work. So when I have other things in life that interfere with work, then it's like extra, hectic to say the least. So like I had some packages I had to ship out today, and then after I was done with that, I was like, yeah, I'll have time to go pick up my suit before I stream. And so then I go to the store, and then I'm like, yeah, I'll just, pick it up and go. And then the lady was like, you want to try it on? And I was like, I probably should. And, half an hour later, here we are. And then, I had to drive another 15 minutes because I had to drive back. Just silly. Are Cosmic Eclipse booster boxes worth even picking up since there's so much? Personally, I'm not a fan. It's funny because here's the deal. And I want to make this very clear. Yes, there's always going to be opportunities for Sun and Moon Air product. Because the value from what we've seen so far has just been continuous. But I do think there are certain points in the market for certain booster boxes that are going to flatline in price. And if you want to take that risk and try and find out what that top is, then that's on you. But for me, I would much rather, as I've said before, take the risk knowing that with Ultra Modern product, I know what wholesale prices are, I know what MSRP is, versus with older product like Sun and Moon, we don't know what the bottom is because we obviously are so far from it and it's not in print. So it's really just what the market kind of decides to do with demand, and with stagnation on the way in the current economy, it's something that kind of scares me quite a bit in terms of what the implications could be for the future. Like, obviously I'm very confident in the future of Pokemon as a whole, but that doesn't necessarily mean I am not a little bit worried, I should say, about where things could be going just with the overall economy, which will trickle into retail. Nobody has posted much yet, Roma says. Okay, that's good to know. Yeah, like I said, man, not surprised. It's probably going to be a slow one. Case of Scarlet and Violet for 95 pounds per box. That's an incredible deal. Shout out to you, Kushan. Chris says, anyone else feel like this is a college course? Classes on Monday, Wednesday, Friday with optional lab on Tuesdays and Thursdays. That's so funny, Chris. Well, hey, if it's one that you guys enjoy, then I will take that as a compliment. Eli, that water ball noise is obnoxious. How we doing? I am so sorry. I will go mute when I drink water. I profusely apologize. But how are you doing, Travis? I am doing good. Thankfully, work itself, although it's always busy, it's like more busy. How do I want to say this? Work is always busy. However, it's less busy with new things, and it's more busy with just finally getting caught up. Since we haven't had a lot of Pokemon product, I haven't really had any new shipments I've had to do other than, the few that kind of trickle in here and there. And so in terms of, kind of business stuff, it's mainly just been me playing catch up, which is nice because I'm freaking always behind on something, right? Like, it'll be, yeah, I've got like 100 packages I have to ship out today, and then I have to, record a video the next day, and then I have to respond to 50 emails, and then I have to do like so many different things, right? But like recently it's been, okay, I only have to ship out 10 packages today, that's easy. Oh, I only have like 10 emails I have to respond to. Okay, that's simple. And then it's like, all right, well, now that I have some free time on my hands, I need to go and get all of my tax files and records ready for tax season, get prepped for that, get on a phone call with both my accountant and my bookkeeper, take care of all that, call several banks to make sure I can get records, like do stuff like that. Oh, I'm going to go make sure I start setting up PT classes so I can actually get healed, because I took time off from physical therapy to continue working because I just was so busy all the time. And now that I have free time, I do physical therapy once a week for just like an hour or so, and trying to, get back to being more active, because since your boy got injured, I've gained 50 pounds in the past 3 or 4 months. So although I love working and I love what I do need to take care of my health better, because going from 180 to now 230 in the span of 3 to 4 months is not the healthiest thing, and I should be more concerned than I am. Do you think Chilling Reign and Fusion will get a reprint? I think Brilliant ES will, but I see some of these sets slowly climbing, thinking of getting a case both for $700 each. Your thoughts? I think it is entirely possible they get a print. There's of course no confirmation with that yet. My expectation is this, Pixel, and this is what I recommend you do. Wait until we get reprints. You're silly if you don't think we're getting reprints, period. There's no way they're not going to reprint Sword and Shield era product. The question is just when. At this point, obviously, we're in early March, end of February. Obviously, where are the reprints? They're not here, right? I said that last time I had the discussion with my insider guy. He told me that, because I wanted to follow up with a confirmation. He said that obviously this is what he's been told. However, he wouldn't be surprised with delays, because there's been times before where you were supposed to get a reprint for Chilling Reign in September, and then it ended up not happening, and then he said October, and then it ended up not happening, and then he said November, and then it ended up happening. So it's entirely possible that, going with the notion that reprints are coming, we just can't pin an exact date on it. For me personally, I think that the expectation is we're going to get the new Scarlet and Violet set. The set's going to come out. It's going to then, do well because it's relatively affordable compared to the rest of the booster box prices, and then you're going to see the reprints. It just makes the most sense to kind of do it that way, because prices are going to be obviously adjusted to inflation at that point, and the Pokemon Company is going to print, I think, appropriately to that, so that they can take advantage of, Scarlet and Violet being their best performing set before they reprint all of the older sets at the lower price, as they promised they would for anything still in the Sword and Shield era. Kind of the last final flush of that, and then I think that'll more than likely kind of be it for the Sword and Shield era for the most part. I mean, we'll kind of see there. We're still trying to see what the plan is in terms of the next rotational cycle, if it's going to be the following year or if it's going to be in August, because if you guys don't know, rotation cycles for standard, which is usually when reprints, the sets that are in cycle are going to get reprints the highest. It's very unlikely that if it's out of the rotation for standard competitive playing Pokemon, it's going to get a reprint. Right now, those sets are Chilling Reign up until the current set, and they were supposed to, technically speaking, cycle out all of the remaining Sword and Shield, so basically Shining Fates all the way back to Sword and Shield base, but they didn't do so because of COVID, and they said they were going to prolong it until the first Scarlet and Violet set, so that technically is the set that's going to go out of rotation. However, will Chilling Reign leading up to Celebrations, and I think Celebrations and I think Fusion, I'm not 100% certain, but will all those sets go all out of rotation by August, or are they going to say, hey, it's going to be a year from Scarlet and Violet base? We're still kind of waiting to find that out, but Eli's so busy, a text back takes a day to get to him. It's bad, bro. Even my friends are getting annoyed with me because I try and keep in touch with my friends, and I'll take forever to get back to them. I feel bad. So I used to be the best at getting back to people. It was almost instantaneous, and then I had no time, and then now I'm the worst. How was J King? The water bottle was the first thing I heard when I got on the stream. Okay, then I will drink live for you guys to all hear. Krishan says, have you seen the new TCG Classic Prague in Japan, and what's your view on it? I have seen it. I heard it's also coming to English. Don't really care that much, if I'm being honest. It doesn't seem any special. It's just them reprinting stuff as we've always seen them do. So, I mean, it's probably going to be worth something, but, you can only hype it up so much. Yo, Eli, you got to get your tax person to do bookkeeping. Less communication, tisk. Well, that's not what she does. My accountant, she's not a bookkeeper. That's just not what she does. Travis says, you're probably the busiest person I know. I feel like a slacker. I mean, that just because I'm busy doesn't mean you're necessarily slacking. I mean, it's just my kind of life. I've chosen this life, and that's on me, right? No one's forcing me to work as much as I work. No one's forcing me to do things as much as I do. You know what I mean? So when it's like, oh yeah, I'm taking a day off, I'm only working 6 hours today. Like, that's the choice that I made, right? Like, no one else is forcing me to do that, right? I think I might have had one day this last weekend where I didn't work. I don't know. I can't remember if I took a day off. I think I did. So, but it was my first day off in a month, so I'll take it. I don't feel bad about it. That's a lie. I totally feel bad about it. When I take time off, I feel like super stressed out about it because I feel like, oh my gosh. But yeah, sometimes it's just like when you kind of get sucker punched, you just kind of need a day to chill, you know. Did Japanese side also have an MSRP increase? I do not know that answer, Roma. That's a good question, actually. Eli, fake bush, shake my head. I don't know what you mean by that. Fake bush? What does that mean? Woo! Ooh, that's thirsty. What does my day-to-day look like? All right, so Roma, obviously it depends upon what day it is. When it's a video day, where there's a stream day. But I wake up every morning, 10 o'clock. Then after I wake up, first thing I do, probably shouldn't do this, but first thing I do is I go on my phone, I check my emails, I check my Discord, I respond to all my emails for Discord, and then I respond to all of my I respond to all my emails, and then I respond to all of my Discord messages typically. Sometimes obviously have to put certain ones off depending upon if it's appropriate for me to get back to them at the time, but for the most part, right? Then after I am done with that, I then go turn on my computer, and then I start my day working, whether that be taking care of getting packages ready, whether that be taking a phone call to talk to distribution because I have some orders that I need to place, whether that be me doing some sort of, other business related calls, right? Like sometimes I have to make a call to my bank for things. Sometimes I have to make a call to my shipping guy that I have who does shipments for me out of the storefront. Sometimes I have to go on a business meeting with my partner down in Oregon. It just kind of depends. There's not really like a finite schedule other than those two things, which is roll out of bed, respond to customer emails and Discord messages, turn on computer, kind of figure out what I have to take care of, right? So that's kind of the ordering. I typically do all of that until roughly around 5 or 6 o'clock, and then obviously if it is a Tuesday or Thursday, I stream, and then I just continue to do that after I'm done streaming. And then basically once I've done that, I then am like, okay, I'm hungry, I should probably go eat. I don't eat till 6 o'clock at the earliest, typically. Pretty bad. I definitely need to eat more, but I just get so like focused when it comes to work that I don't really eat. Like I just forget because I'm just so in the zone when it comes to working. And if I like feel like I break that, then I lose like that kind of same level of like efficiency, if that makes sense. And then basically I go eat food. And then I usually, when it comes to shipping out packages, breaking down product, that's something for the most part I usually do at the end of the day, unless it's like a weekend. So like, for example, I obviously broke down like 1,000, I want to say roughly around collector's chests. When I did that on a Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and then was able to get everything all packaged up by Tuesday. So I obviously had to record a video, take care of some other stuff. So that's kind of it. But anyway, so 6 o'clock rolls around, eat food, take care of whatever work stuff I need to take care of until about 8 or 9 o'clock, I want to say. And then from there, I hang out with my fiance for 2 or 3 hours until she goes to bed. Then I stop hanging out with her at around 11 o'clock, you know, roughly, sometimes give or take, depending upon the time she has to get up for work. And then once I'm done with that, I go back to my computer, and if I feel not stressed out, I'll play video games. But usually I'll continue to work unless I have time to play video games for about an hour or two. And that's my day. So let's see, 10 to, what was that, 8 or 9? So that's about a 10 to 11 hour work day at the minimum. And then if I'm not playing video games, then I usually will work till around 1 or 2 in the morning, starting at 11. So that's 12, 1 or 2. So yeah, I mean, so for shorter days, so for days if I am not working the nights, then it's only an 11-hour day. But if I am working the nights, then it's usually around a 13 to 14-hour day, is what I would say. And that's usually how it is. Thankfully, recently, like I said before, it's been slower. I've only had to work 6 to 8 hours a day because I just haven't had a lot of emails and packages. But with that being said, I still keep myself busy because I am dealing with a lot of other things. But yeah, that's what my general day-to-day kind of looks like. It's not really like confined schedule type deal. Obviously, it just changes because I never know what's going to happen, right? Like, I could literally have a plan one day that I'm going to ship out all my packages and break down a bunch of this product. And then I could get a message from a customer saying, hey, I haven't found my package. Do you know where it is? And then I end up spending 4 hours driving around town going to all of the local shipment centers trying to find where their package is, which I had to do last week. And that just becomes my due day. So that's, it's just kind of how it is with the game. Seek a product, love the tease, asking for a little more hints. How many different sets are in this product? Is it? Well, I mean, it depends, but I would say for the most part, this secret product tends to have around 4 to 5 different sets, roughly. Have you hired that employee? In theory, so just to kind of give you guys an understanding of the, employee that I'm going to be hiring. It's one of my buddies who I basically wanted to give the opportunity to come work for me. The expectation is that he is going to move here at the end of March, right before the new set release, and he's going to help me get everything all prepped for the new set release. And then obviously when we open up more slots for the program, technically he is officially hired, quote unquote, but obviously if something falls through and he ends up flaking out and not moving, which I don't think that's going to happen, but I'm never not ruling something out. So we'll kind of see what happens with that. Then I'll have to scramble to try and find someone to hire. So, but we'll see, man. We will see. He's building an empire. It takes time, a lot of struggle. A 70-hour work week is normal. I mean, let's see. If I'm working 7 days a week, and we will say on a typical weekend, I work, we'll say 8 hours, and then on weekdays, I will work 11. So that's 11 times 5, so that's 55. 55 plus 16, that's about 71 hours. Yeah, so that's about right. That's typically what I work, I would say. Thankfully, the 100-hour work weeks only happen like once or twice a year, like every 6 months, I want to say. I want to say a year, hopefully. I mean, there was a period of time where it was like a work week. It felt like once a month for 100 hours. But dang, 10. When do you get to sleep? Not till 2 or 3 in the morning. That's why, because I'm up just late working. I just have realized I'm more efficient when I get up later in the day and go to bed later at night. So like if I, for example, have, because there's been days I've gotten up for work at like 8:30, I've noticed that I'll like lay in bed for like half an hour and just watch YouTube videos or listen to a podcast. And so for me, I just can't really do that for the sake of efficiency, which is weird saying, but I just can't do that if I get up at like 8:30 or 8 o'clock. I just feel like I'm wasting time if I'm sitting there in my bed for half an hour to an hour just not doing anything. So for me, get up at 10, roll out of bed, start my day. It's literally like I hear my alarm go off and the first thing I do is check my messages and then just go. Versus it's 8:30, oh, I'm tired, oh, I don't want to get up, let me just put on a podcast and let me like kind of wake up to the podcast. But like for that first like half an hour to hour, I'm not really doing anything. I'm just trying to more or less wake myself up just because my body is just really not good at getting up early. Even when there were times when, before I was working this much, I was going to bed at like 12 o'clock at night. instead of like 2 or 3 in the morning. Even with that, I was still bad at getting up at 8, just because that's just how my body operates, I guess. But yeah, I mean, if I'm going to bed at 2 or 3 and I get up at 10, that gets me about 7 to 8 hours of sleep. So I want to make sure, best case scenario, I'm hopefully always getting 7 to 8 hours of sleep. I'd be lying if I said there aren't times where I am getting 5 to 6. Try to make it no more than once a week that happens, just because there has been times where I've gone sleep deprived and then I end up going crazy and like start having like mental breakdowns, because it is not healthy to become sleep deprived, and not to mention too, you become less efficient. And I think that sleep is one of the most important things. Even though I suck at eating, I at least make sure that I try and do the best at that I can when it comes to getting enough sleep. But yeah, waking up at 5:30 a.m. I would die. I haven't done that in a while. I used to have a job that I worked where I had to get up that early, and it was just, I mean, I was fine with the job, but because of how much I was getting paid, but Jesus loves me, did it suck. For real, it's whatever makes you happy. I'm happier if I take time for sports or gaming or whatever instead of working sometimes as person. Well, I love volleyball. Obviously, volleyball is my passion. I moved to Arizona to see how far I can go, see about playing professionally, but I got injured with my groin, and so what did I do? To kind of fill the void, I said I'm going to work myself to death, and I need to wean back off that. I need to not be working this much, and so that's why I'm like hiring an employee first priority, so I can have myself some free time, you know? Yeah, man, trying to force yourself to eat every 2 years limits the binge eating, and that is the biggest problem, Roma, is I eat endlessly when it's one meal. Like, it'll be like 6 o'clock, and it'll be like just everything. I'll just eat so much food, man. I'm in fake busy. That's what Poke Department Store says. Hey, man. I shouldn't say I wish I was fake busy, because I think fake busy is the dumbest thing ever. Like, if I'm not working, I'll be honest about it, because like I said before, recently I've been only working 6 to 8 hours a day, so I have no problem admitting that, and I took a day off this last weekend, so yeah, I mean, it's nice taking time off, but yeah, it'll be funny, because like one of my buddies will be like, hey Eli, he'll come over and like help me out with some work stuff, and then literally he'll be like, you want to play video games? I'm like, yeah, I'll play video games, I'll hop on in a second here, and literally it'll be like 1 in the morning or like midnight, and he'll be like, hey, I thought you were hopping on. I was like, oh, sorry, I got distracted with work stuff. And then that'll be it. I'll just keep going with work. So I have to keep myself in check sometimes. AA Alex says, I've got 10 Hidden Fates Elite Trainer box. I want to store in a case, but I don't have a box. Any advice on where I can find a box with the same dimensions for a decent price? Sadly, I do not know that, AA Alex. However, what you could do, if and this is not a bad idea to look into, is go to your local game store, like you know, like literally a card shop that you have, and see if they have something like that they just have lying around, because I have a bunch of sealed cases that I just keep in my garage, just left over in case I need to ship something like that out. So Live as a Poketuber, need a documentary. I mean, that's less of a Poketuber, and I think that's more of just like the business mindset, right? I feel like when it comes to being an entrepreneur, and like a true entrepreneur, it's really focusing in on working and being as efficient as possible, and making sure like you're spending your time to really grow your business, and the days that you have off, you're minimizing that time, quote unquote, off that you have to get caught up on things that you have pushed to the side because it's not #1 priority, right? Like, you see all the time those like you know, motivational videos, or like how to be a millionaire by 24. First thing you do is get up at 4:30 in the morning, go to the gym for 2 hours. Then when you're done, I take some coffee, I watch the news and look at the markets and see what's going on with stocks for the first 2 hours. Then I put in some trades. Then I read a book about like, it's the most like cheesy thing. And then he's like, you want to learn more about how I become wealthy and the real secret sauce? Buy my program. And it's like this like whole cheese whiz thing that people try and push off, but like my day-to-day is very boring. Like, it's very much oh, people are messaging me, all right, I should probably message them back. Oh, I have a business call that I have to set. Oh, I have a business meeting that I set up that I need to attend to. Okay. You know, answering phone calls, doing messaging is a big portion of it. And then outside of that, it's taking care of the, you know, back end things of getting packages ready to be prepped, putting in phone calls for distribution to put in orders. And then once obviously it's time for me to break down product to ship out to customers or just send sealed, then I, you know, begin that process for shipment. So that's just kind of, it's just kind of how it is. It's not like it's a secret sauce. Like anyone can do it. The secret sauce really just comes with the intercommunication aspect of creating a brand for yourself. That's what I think is the real impressive part. Like, don't get me wrong, like there is obviously skills when it comes to being organized and making sure that you are able to juggle and manage so many things at once. Like obviously there's a skill to that, but I feel like most of the time, like from my personal experience, I didn't really learn things in college that helped translate to my business. I learned a lot from my you know, family and my mentors in life, but even then, a lot of the business stuff that I've really done, it's like some of it hasn't been taught. Like my parents, they own their own brand marketing and sales agency, but my dad, to my knowledge, hasn't worked in retail management, right? And he hasn't had that kind of, you know, he hasn't at least taught to me that kind of stuff when it comes to inventory management, right? Like they have employees, they work with online websites, so they help me with that kind of stuff and building my brand, and that's a big part of the reason why I've been able to succeed. But like, you know, in terms of, you know, shipping out product and that kind of stuff, that was all self-taught, kind of learning by watching YouTube videos or watching other people do it and just basically asking anyone and everyone I can. Like I'm the type of person that, like, when it comes to information, I will like leech onto you and I will just suck all the information out of you if there's something I feel like I can gain from your knowledge or wisdom. That's kind of like my mentality, and I feel like that's how people should really be if you want to learn, is you hear someone's into a certain thing and then you're like, I could use this information to then better myself because it's going to change the game for me drastically. And that's the thing, is the people that have helped this business become successful, who I am super grateful for. Shout out to Jermaine, shout out to PokeJ, and a couple of other individuals. Shout out to John Boy. Like, when it comes to a lot of all of these things, it's very much like, hey, I know this, how do I make this better? And then they're like, I think I can help you in this way by providing this, just because I like what you're doing, or I just want to share this information with you that can help then allow my business to become more successful. And if I didn't have those individuals that I was able to learn certain things from, then obviously that would change things drastically for me. And obviously there's only so much, you know, they can teach me beyond what is, you know, the majority of their expertise or knowledge, without me having to take a full-on course. But you know, I kind of digress with that. There's just a lot. There's just a lot to it, and I think that the number one thing you should really take away from is just find people in life that are successful, find people in life that are very knowledgeable in certain areas, and really take advantage of their knowledge. That's what I would say. So Scarlet and Violet, amazing, mediocre. I've been totally out of the loop recently. I would say so far it's looking like it's going to be a really good set. I love that they're switching out from rainbows to the designs for the terrestrial eyes. I think that the cards themselves look really cool, so I'm happy about that. In terms of the set, we have seen some alternate arts, we have seen some character rares, so we haven't seen the second half of the set. That doesn't come out until the 8th, is, if I'm correct, so we'll probably start seeing leaks in the next week or so here for what the English set is going to look like. But it looks like it's going to be a good set. It'll be the first time. It's arguably going to be the best base set of all time. And obviously you can sit here and be, well, base set Pokemon, but I'm talking about like from an art perspective, right? Like, obviously base set first editions, victim of its time, but if you look at like Sun and Moon, Sword and Shield, most of the art's pretty boring, pretty bland, just rainbows, golds, full arts, blah, 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 nothing crazy, right? So this time, we're going to get alternate arts, we're going to get character rares, we're going to get trainer alternate art designs, we're going to get the new designs with the terrestrialized card, so it's going to be sick. I'm excited. I think it'll be a good base set. Alrighty, where am I now? I love Steam Siege, Ripper the Chipper says. Right? Some people just get that get to live the life you want under Eli. Get out of here, Bogan Department Store. Brendan, Charizard UPC first print. Tori says, shoot, Charizard UPC gave me nothing. Tori, the newer ones have seemed to be better. Your average player, yo Eli. What's up, average player? Good to see you as always, brother. Lord Narwhal says, working hard definitely has some primal appeal. Feels really good if you're doing something you really believe in. I look at it like this. In my I get work highs. I'm right there with you, Lord Narwhal. And here's how I look at it. I feel as if, and this comes from, for me personally, this comes also from a religious perspective, but also from a philosophical perspective. I believe that we as humans were born for a natural desire and drive to have a purpose in life. And with that, I believe that we feel an accomplishment when we are creating something, and when that thing that we create gives us satisfaction because of its success, right? I think obviously that continuously evolves as time progresses, as you know, it goes from learning how to create a fire, learning how to cook, learning how to build a home, learning how to like fix something, like obviously as we progress more in civilization, and that has drastically changed to now starting your own business, creating something out of that. Doesn't mean you necessarily have to start your own business to feel that satisfaction. You could feel that satisfaction in elsewhere. There's so many different ways to do so, but more or less the point that I'm making with this is there's a feeling of accomplishment as you continuously progress and you're building something of your own, and it gives you that feeling of, wow, I'm living and working towards something continuously every single day, right? Like there's always something that's giving me that motivation in life to just keep pushing, right? So when it comes to like work stuff, like obviously it's work, right? But it doesn't feel like work sometimes because I get to see the progression and the growth, and I get to see the vision for what I have, and I continuously am motivated by that on a daily basis, and it just gives me that satisfaction. And like, Norwal was saying, that high, and like he said as well, such a primal appeal as well. I think there's definitely some form of, there's just something inside of every person, I feel, and it's just a personal opinion, I feel like there's that just general, there's that general appeal. Like, there's a reason why, statistically speaking, the highest rate of suicide amongst the upper class versus the middle versus the lower class, the highest rate is at the upper class. I think I can't remember the exact percentage, so I won't quote it because I don't want to misquote something, but more or less they came down to, statistically speaking, the reason for this was because once you get to a point in life where you've made so much money and you no longer have a purpose because you try and retire, then you start to feel like life is empty and unfulfilled. And that's why you see a lot of these super uber wealthy individuals. They're just like, I don't care about the money at this point. I just want to keep working because I just have that purpose. It's funny. I was listening to an interview, and it was of Mark Cuban, and he was talking about, like what he's been trying to do to help the market and help people, because obviously he started his pharmaceutical company, and with his pharmaceutical company, he's trying to help produce cheaper cost of pharmaceuticals, which I think is awesome. I think that's great for the market. I think that's great for the economy and everyday individual. And one of the things he was being asked in terms of like why he like does all this, he's like, hey, like you've made X amount of money in your life. Why do you need more money? And he said, I don't need more money. He says, I just am a naturally competitive individual, and everything I do, I have to be the best. And so if someone comes into my field and they try and do what I'm going to do, I'm going to crush you, and I am going to run you over and just absolutely run you out of business, because I want to be the best in that field, and I want to keep doing that every single day. And obviously that sounds kind of brutal, because the reality is the free market is a jungle. But like what he's more or less saying there is, hey man, I'm driven every single day because of my competitive nature to continuously do everything in my being to just keep pushing and working and just being better, because there's always that kind of next level, which I think that there's definitely a motivating factor with that, and some people obviously look at that as a positive thing or a negative, but I digress. I thought it was an interesting conversation he was having. All this talk as I'm just watching a stream at work, Tyrone says. There you go, brother. Eli Brennan says, do you know when your wholesale allocations come out in general? Well, my allocations come out in general. It kind of depends, Brendan. So how it works, so Scarlet and Violet, for example, what I've been informed by my distributors is it varies. I have some distributors that'll ship the week of. I'll have some distributors ship the week before. I'll have some distributors ship they will give us allocations the week before, the week of, or 3 to 4 weeks prior. So that's how it is with distributors. It's different for each and every one. My expectation is that within the next week or so, one of our distributors hopefully should give us numbers. Then, like I said before, the week of and leading up to the week of the set release, we should get numbers from some other distributors. And then I should be able to have everything be shipped to me about 3 or 4 days before the release, and then have everything be shipped out to you guys either the day before or 2 days before the release. Typically, obviously, it depends how long it takes me to ship everything out, but that's usually the time frame. So best case scenario, if you live somewhere near the Southwest, you're gonna receive it day of, maybe the day after release. And then for most people in the East Coast to Midwest, you're probably gonna receive it early the following after the week release, because obviously the release date is on Friday, and trying to receive it on a Monday is probably it, because I don't think UPS ships on Sundays, if I'm correct. So, but if they do, then you could get it on the weekend. Xbox or PS5. I'm gonna say something super duper hot take. I don't understand the motivation to get a PlayStation other than the fact that there's like a couple of exclusives. Like, obviously they've got God of War, obviously they've got The Last of Us, and they've got a couple of other games. Like, I get that, I understand that, right? But when it comes to Xbox and what Xbox is doing, they're literally buying everything. They're buying Bethesda, they're buying up Blizzard, they're buying so many different companies. And obviously you can get a lot of these games for now on both consoles. But when I look at the future of both companies, and I look the direction in which Xbox is going right now, or Microsoft in particular is going, and how they're just continuously buying up all these huge gaming companies, the direction for gaming exclusives seems like it's drastically going to swing in the direction of Xbox. Like, when you think of where Xbox is now, they're like Halo and like a couple Xbox games like, I don't know, Sea of Thieves, and that's like kind of underwhelming. Like, that's not really exciting. Those are not game award winning things. Halo's been crap in my personal opinion since Halo Reach. That was the last kind of good one they had, and so it's just really hard to see from a game exclusive perspective. So what are they doing to counteract that? Is they're just buying all the gaming companies. So that's just the game in which it's being played, I guess. And and for that reason, I feel like it makes more sense to get an Xbox, especially too if you are someone that has a PC or plays with people on PC, because it is so much easier to be able to connect through multiple devices because of Microsoft integration, versus with PlayStation. You're going to have an extremely difficult time unless you're purposely going to game chats, where I can easily go connect with someone in Xbox Live Party on PC as well as my actual console, because I can just have my Xbox gaming set up. So I just feel like that's the reason why I'm more of an Xbox fan, for that personal reason. My first ever console I got was a PlayStation, and so I like PlayStation, but it's just the way in which I feel like things are going, and just, Windows is kind of just dominant for that reason. But in terms of PlayStation 5 versus Xbox One X, I don't have either. I have a PC and I have an Xbox One, and I just haven't really needed much more because, PC is kind of master race, if I'm being honest. and that ties into Microsoft and Xbox, obviously. If I were to break down sealed product to sell some packs, I shouldn't lose sleep about cracking some Juniper milk cartons open, or should I? That's a tough one, Black and Bluefin, because if you look at the value of the Juniper boxes right now, to my knowledge, the price for them is about $2 above wholesale. So the value for these items is poor. Like wholesale is $25. And these are selling for $29. Literally back in January, they were selling for wholesale. So the price of these is dirt cheap. So if you're saying, should you lose sleep over these items? Well, honestly, considering how low demand this product is and you're basically buying and selling it at wholesale, I don't think you should lose sleep about opening up the packs, because you come with 7 packs inside of it, and I think 2 of those are in Evolving Skies. You're probably going to make more money out of the packs and trying to sell that off loose. So, I mean, if you're trying to just move it, that's not a bad play. Are the Steam Siege cards in the fridge, Tyrone says. No, the Steam Siege cards, which we obviously did for the giveaway, which I still have yet to do the giveaway, they are in the downstairs office in a corner. They literally are just in a pile in a corner, and I just haven't touched them. So I'm glad you said something, because I already forgot. So I still need to do that at some point, man. Oh my goodness gracious. I know Rusty had the UPC batch error with stupid numbers of all part. It wouldn't surprise me if quality control was so bad that it happened. Eli sucks my knowledge. Matthew says, I literally have 20k bulk. Is there anywhere still worth getting rid of this when it won't cost me more to ship it than get it paid for? Nope. Not at all, Matthew, because if you look at the highest pay rate right now, it is 1.7 cents per 1.7 cents per bulk at Safari Zone, but that's for in-store credit, and when you really do the math, it's not worth it because of the price to ship, on top of the in-store credit being something where, unless you're going to go buy something that you like at this very moment in time, you're going to have to kind of wait and, until they have something. I recommend local game stores just to kind of get quick cash then. Anyone here have experience using Python or VBA Excel? I would not be surprised if there are, Roma, because there are some people I think that have helped me with that stuff. I'd love to set up my own tools to scrape market data on TCG Player without going off and grabbing it manually. I feel that. Any thoughts on Pokemon Classic Premium? Already talked about that at the very beginning of the video, It's not really that interesting. I need a motivated speech compilation from Eli. Oh, that's funny. Conversations being had between Lord Narwhal and Roma. Can't wait till Eli has to scroll past all of this. Oh, that's funny. Tori says, I see. I feel the same way, but the way of Pokemon, I just want to help the future generation have fun collecting. The biggest reason I jumped in the Juicer group was for this. Yeah, and I mean, for me personally, my general motivation for business is simple. Obviously, I love Pokemon, and I love investing. So, best of both worlds. Awesome, easy. Like that's what makes me happy in terms of it's something I'm interested in. But beyond that, from a business perspective, what is my general motivation? My general motivation is whatever I can do to offer a product or service that I believe is going to be best for the market, aka you guys, and just anything I can do to provide something that is of service to people is what I want to do, and I want to be the best at that in any way I can be. I want to bring innovation and do things and sell things at certain prices that no one else is able to compete against. That is my general business model, because I think that in a healthy market with competition, there should be continuous innovation, because that is what's going to bring out the best in products and consumer goods and services. So that is my general business belief and model, which is why we have so many projects we're working on that I am really passionate about, because I think they're going to be awesome additions to the Pokemon market that no one else is implementing or doing. Way better exclusive games, of course. That was the first point I made. I love the games on PS, but Xbox is my home. Can't you just play games on PC? Well, yeah, of course. Exactly. That's kind of the biggest point that I was making with all of that. My take, own a PC as you can play on them. Buy a PS5 for the exclusives. You know, I think what makes but here's the deal though, is when it comes to just having everything on Xbox, PC versus Xbox, and being able to synchronize both of those, it's much easier to do that than with PlayStation, if that makes sense. Like, obviously, if you want to have two separate accounts, you can, but I like having all of my accounts in one area. It's kind of like why Apple is dominated for the longest time, is because they make it an absolute pain in the ass to track everything if you decide to go with something outside of Apple. They're like, oh yeah, you want an iPhone and you want to have iMessages on your laptop or your iPad and sync everything all together. Oh, you decided to get a tablet or a Microsoft computer? Ooh, that's not gonna allow you to sync anything. Go freak yourself, buy our product. Like, that's kind of their belief, is like everything you do. Oh, you want other earbuds? Yeah, you can totally use other earbuds outside of Apple, but the Bluetooth is gonna suck ass, and it's half the time going to end up draining your battery because it's not going to connect properly of you attempting to do it. Instead, buy our $150, $200 AirPods and you're going to instantaneously connect, but you're going to shill out a freaking fortune for them. So it's like, I feel like that's kind of the model that a lot of companies are going towards, and Microsoft, obviously, with Xbox synchronization and, you know, specifically PC, you can't have that same synchronization on a Microsoft device as you can with, you know, Sony. Like, that's just not going to happen. You're not going to sync your PlayStation to your PC in the same way. PC Master Race, he says, when he had an HDD. I don't know what HDD is. Is buying a booster box worth it? That is specifically a Crown Zenith booster box. Well, hate to break it to you, Crown Zenith does not have booster boxes. Only Elite Trainer boxes. What are the chances of pulling the Altard VMAX out of a single pack like you would buy at a store? Probably 1 in like 389, I think is what it was. Are there any different waves of store exclusive product like Walmart, Reshiram, Charizard V-Boxes, or GameStops with RQC PCs? What do you mean, are there different waves? Are you saying are they coming or just in general? Because there are different waves, obviously. It depends on when the Pokemon company gives to each store, like GameStop or Myers or Walmart or Target, but at this moment in time, it doesn't seem like there's any. Where's the cheapest place I can buy an Evolving Skies booster box? Nowhere. That's it, Eli's convinced me. Accounting firm coming by the summer. Get out of here. Marcus Barkus, you can transform into any Pokemon, but you have to stay that Pokemon for a year. What would it be? Who, if I could turn into any Pokemon for a year, what would it be? Probably one that doesn't really change my life that much. One where I feel like I have mobility and I don't feel like just a freaking tank or like a tiny short person. Just like 2 feet tall. But Machamp's super short. I wouldn't want to be Machamp. It's like 4 feet tall. But like, is there a Pokemon that is like human height? Like, in terms of heights, And I want one with hands and thumbs, obviously. Oh, that's a tough one, man. I feel like... I turned into a Vaporeon. I was waiting for someone to make a freaking sexual remark. Urshifu is basically human height with thumbs and hands, right? That's a good question, actually. How tall is Urshifu? He is 6'3". Ooh. Yeah, Urshifu would be a cool Pokemon to be. That's a good one. Urshifu is a good one. Emilio says, have an awesome day. I'm working, but I'll listen. Hey, thanks Amelia so much for the $2 or the $2 donation. It means a lot. Thank you. Wait, does that mean you stay a Pokemon as in you can transform into Ditto? Good point, Narwhal. That's kind of cheating, but is this a furry bait question? What's the appeal of being a Pokemon? You can kill people? Okay, well at that point I might as well be Arceus or Giratina and just kind of just go on a rampage. You guys are killing me, Ditto. You guys are cheaters. Me, be a Mr. Mime and be my dad. Ditto is definitely the move. Rillaboom VMAX. Wow, that seems a lot. Daddy, I mean Urshifu. You guys are so sus. Yeah, I think I don't know, man. I mean, I feel like Urshifu, right? I mean, generally being a Pokemon is like a handicap unless you're trying to like take over the world or something. Yeah, I wouldn't want to be a Pokemon if I'm being honest. I'm here to catch them, not be them. Like, what's the point here, right? Like, you're basically just an animal, right? Like, that's asking the question, if you had to be an animal, which animal would you be? Well, the question also comes down to, if you ask that question too, are you changing your general intelligence, right? Because at that point you're like, oh, I would love to be like a grizzly bear or like a gorilla or something like that, right? But like, am I still like my human level of intelligence? Like, what would you want? Single or rapid strike? Obviously rapid strike. Yeah, I believe you, Eli. Don't want to be a Pokemon. You guys are so goofy. Oh, that's so funny. What animal would you be? A human. I'd be a Homo sapien. That's what I would be. For the waves question, it is more like if I bought a Charizard Reshiram box at GameStop. That is a GameStop exclusive a year ago versus now. Is it from a different wave? Yes, in theory it would be from a different wave if they were to produce more. That's usually how it works, I would say. To my knowledge and understanding, that's how it is. Oh, you guys are so silly with the Pokemon. Hey, what's up, Poke Collector Jay? Thank you for stopping by. Welcome back. Work attacked? Since when do you work? What? You weren't golfing? See, I think he's trying to trick us, guys. I'd be a silverback gorilla VMAX. So a Rillaboom. Literally. You're like, I would just be a Rillaboom. I mean, that's just so lame, though. Like, I feel like you have to ask the intention, because if you're going to be, like, being a human, obviously, like, if you're going to be a Pokemon versus a human, yeah, I mean, what's the point? Seriously, they found me out. They went on to the course when you were golfing, and they And they searched you and hunted you down. What's the strongest animal you could win in a fight against? I don't know. Do I have a gun? Who would win, a single strike or Shifu or a rapid strike? Probably a... I don't know, man. That's hard. Will loose pack bundles continue for the Patreon wholesale member long term, or is it just temporary? It's going to be a long term thing, Fitness. So here's my kind of philosophy is if there is product that is available for cheap, sealed, then you guys will obviously want it sealed. If there is a better price that I can offer loose, then I will do loose deals. It really just comes down to what the price is for product at the time, right? So take, for example, generally speaking, booster boxes. Booster boxes are on average $86 times, divided by 36. You're paying about $2.38 per pack. Obviously, if we say, you know, shipping and fees, we'll say that adds another... We'll say you're basically with the wholesale program, shipping and fees, depending upon if you're buying a case's worth, that's really going to add it up to $92. You're going to say divided by 36, that puts you roughly at $2.55, right? When it comes to the bundle deals that we've given one at the $2.75 price point, we've given one at the $2.51 price point, and we've given one at the $3 price point, right? Those are all the kind of price points that we've given. Now, with all that being said, my kind of goal is if I can be closer to that kind of $2.50, $2.55, $2.60, then great. I'm going to do that. I'm going to offer product at around that price so that I can give you guys just the best deals possible. If I can't do so with sealed product, then I'm going to do so with loose packs. So it's not necessarily like it's a temporary thing because of sealed product. It's going to be available, but only if I find it to be, it makes sense, right? Because if I'm like, hey guys, you can buy Silver Tempest booster boxes for $96. I'm doing a deal where you can buy them for $96, right? And then I'm saying, or you can buy loose packs for $3 a piece, then obviously you're not going to do $3 a piece because that's going to end up costing you $108 versus $95. You're saving money, right? So it just really depends on what I can do to give you guys the best deals and prices. That's just kind of how it always is with the wholesale program, and I'm going to do whatever I can to get creative with it. Live stream my round to my work team account didn't help. Oh my goodness, that's... Why would you... Did you actually do that, or are you being sarcastic? Sam Boney says, today was the first day I went into Target and there were very few little Pokemon product compared to sports card stock. Do you think Pokemon Company is doing this on purpose? No, I don't think they're obviously doing this on purpose. I think that... Well, I guess the question is when you say, is the Pokemon Company not printing a ton of product and dumping it right now, do I think that's on purpose? I think that aspect of it is on purpose. I think they're waiting until Scarlet and Violet comes out. So I guess yes is the answer. Why does Eevee have every elemental type but metal? That's definitely not true. It doesn't have ground, or it doesn't have ghost, or it doesn't have... let's see... dragon. So it has like a lot of, it doesn't have rock. So it doesn't have rock, it doesn't have ground, it doesn't have steel, it doesn't have ghost, it doesn't have dragon, it doesn't have... So that's 5 elemental types. Is there another one I'm missing? I feel like I probably am, but I could be wrong. Has... Yeah, I think that's right. I think that's the 5 it doesn't have. You should Google the pick 2 to defend you picture and answer that, since we're talking about animals. Is this a meme I don't know about? Hopefully This is safe for work. Oh, which would I prefer to... Oh, pick two. Oh, this whole meme. Correctly ranking the pick two animals to defend your meme because there's only one clear answer. I feel like the answer to that would be 50 hawks and 10,000 rats. I feel like that's such an easy answer. 50 hawks and 10,000 rats, you would smoke everything. Are you kidding me? That feels like such an easy answer to me. I think people don't understand how 10,000 rats, like 10,000 rats, like that's so simple. If you literally say 10,000 rats, let's say each rat weighs like 1 pound, like just 1 pound, which they obviously weigh more than that. That's 10,000 pounds of pressure, bro. I don't think any of these animals combined like is going to weigh to that much amount of pressure. Yeah, like that's an overwhelming amount of sheer force. And then from there, I would say probably go with 50 falcons, right? Because 50 falcons have just an aerial advantage over every other animal, right? And so it's one thing if you're like, oh, I'm a gorilla, I'm just going to swipe at the bird, right? Like, because he's going to be able to do it. But if it's another thing if they're being overwhelmed by 10,000 rats and then the bird's able to basically just kind of swoop on in, boom, I'm taking your eye out. Like, you're done. Like, you're just done at that point. Hawk comes in, one swipe to the face, flies back up, boom. That's all it takes. It's just one swipe. Just one swipe at your face and your eyes gouged. Like, I don't see that. Like, that just seems simple to me. No, just you and a wooden bat in an open grass field. Tyrone is asking, hold on. What's the strongest animal I could win a fight in with just me in a grass field with a wooden bat? Strongest animal? Obviously, I'm getting wrecked by like a lion or like a gorilla. I mean, are we talking strength or like predatorial? Because like strength-wise, obviously, I mean, depends also how slow they are. It depends on what you're also determining is by strength, right? Like, for example, like pressure from certain animals' jaws is going to be intense in terms of their general strength, but are we talking like, you know, the strength of a gorilla to be able to crush something with his hands, right? But it also has a strong jaw. Like, what are we determining in terms of general strength as a value, right? Cam the goat says, and all the rest you said. Awesome, great to have several customers that like a variety of loose pack deals. I mean, that's kind of it, man. Is whatever I can do to just offer the best prices, that's all that matters to me. Just need your falcons to gouge some eyes out. That's literally what I'm saying, dude. I can send literally nothing. Beat nothing. What do you mean send nothing? You just sent like 5 messages. Howdy, what is up, Maverick? Hopefully all is well with you. Lord Norwal says, no normal, no fighting, no flying, no poison, no rock, no ground, no dragon, no bug, no ghost. So there's 9. There you go, Norwal. A lot is missing, indeed. Tyrone, you are different. We know that. You're a very unique individual. You're very, someone calls special. Your favorite set is obviously Steam Siege. Like, we got nothing against that. But outside of that, that's about your only good take you've ever made. No, I'm just kidding. Tyrone's just built different. Oh my gosh. I love how this is a whole thing that became a thread. What if the, like, I'm just saying, what if we started to create simulations of these questions? Like, I'm not saying I think the problem is how easy falcons are to pluck out of the air when they dive. What do you mean by that? Will you be dropping into 401k? Not at this moment in time, department store. They basically got to have flawless performance. Well, here's the thing, Narwhal. I don't think they need to have flawless performance just based on the fact that when it comes to the overwhelming sheer force of the rats, they're going to distract the animals enough to where they're going to be more focused on the rats, and then the falcons are going to swoop in and like sneak attack them. Yeah, it could swipe a falcon down if it wasn't distracted. But it's going to be distracted. Might need to remove the rats. I know, that would definitely change the argument entirely. I love how on days when it's like just really slow in the chat, it just kind of devolves into just random, just goober conversations. It's so funny. Tyrone says, true. It's not true. I'm obviously messing with you. But I will not be dropping into a 401k as it stands right now, department store, yet. Not yet. Honestly, you know what my biggest issue with 401ks, department store, is I've never, like, I understand why it works for the majority of Americans. Like, 90% of Americans should do a 401k. The reason why I get afraid the most of 401ks is, like, I think the thing is, when it comes to the retirement age to withdraw your funds, it's like, I feel like I just am losing money by the fact that I can't withdraw it up until a certain point, not to mention with Social Security looking like it's going to go bankrupt again and get bailed out again. It wouldn't surprise me if they increase the retirement age once more, and then I'm going to be in my 70s before I can touch it, when in reality, I would like to realistically be financially independent in the next 10 years. And so it just feels kind of silly just throwing money in there that I can't touch. The only time I feel like it's really worth it is if it's matched. That's the only time I feel like it's ever worth it to throw it in a 401k, because then it's silly because you're just getting free money, and it's stupid to say no to free money, because at that point, even if you withdraw early with penalty, I'm at least going to have free money matched, you know? Roth IRA, traditional IRA, 401k with a company match. I mean, yeah, Roth IRAs, especially when you're younger, Roth IRAs are definitely superior. That's one of the biggest things I always try and talk to my friends around my age when it comes to initial retirement accounts. I'm like, okay, you're making server wages. Now's the time before you get, I mean, obviously you can make good money with server wages, but if you're going to college part-time, right, you're making like $20K a year. Now's the time. Go put your money in an IRA. Make sure it's a Roth. When you're making 60, 70 a year off of the salary position plus, then you can go get a traditional. Retirement accounts of 60 plus is not appealing. I'd much rather take my chances in the market and shoot for early retirement. That's what I'm saying. Well, for you, might be able to dodge some taxes, and it's just a safety net. I believe in your money-making abilities. I appreciate that. High Dragon break card versus all Tyrones out here. Evolving Skies booster box case came in today. Let's go. Well, shout out to you, Grande Poppy. Getting himself an Evolving Skies booster case. Yeah, I believe in my money-making abilities as well. Because if there's one thing that my last name is Schmitz. If there's one thing the Schmitzes are good at, it's having a sense for where to make money. But I feel like it's not that hard to make money. I feel like it's pretty easy. You just have to just have a sense for how to do it. Eli, have you seen the Magikarp Secret Rare from Triple Beat? The artwork looks similar to the Giratina Altar from Lost Origin. I have seen it. I mean, it seems like a cool design. It doesn't really blow me out of the water, but it seems fine. Do the research and invest in quality companies. 401k, also not financial advisor. I'm not a financial advisor. Everyone out here just starts saying we're all not financial advisors. Pretty easy to lose money too. That's a great point, Lord Narwhal. We should probably also mention that. We should also mention that. Is also a really good thing to mention. You're like, I've made $100,000 this year. Sure, I lost 300,000, but I only look at my wins. Thoughts on Evolving Skies Umbreon promo blister? I mean, what do you mean by what are my thoughts on the actual promo itself for Evolving Skies, or the blister in and of itself? I'm going to start an investing channel says, this is financial advice, and see if anything bad actually happens. I bet not. Well, if you blow up, it will. That's the problem. Just start saying that. It's just for liability and legal reasons, you know? Just try not to get sued here, man. Why do you think I'm starting a freaking LLC? So that when I scamaz everyone and I finally have my exit. No, I'm just kidding. Such a dumb joke. Oh my gosh. But no, for real though, I feel like for me, the reason why I don't know. If I'm being honest, the reason why I say it is because in the investing world, all the people that I follow, they've always done that. And I'm like, I should probably do that for liability reasons as well. And so when I create my videos, that's what I'm going to do. Chicken breasts, I guess. Chicken breasts, thighs. I don't know, man. It's a tough one. Think breasts? I could be wrong. Polar Bunny and FTX, this is financial advice, right? There you go. So what happened to reprints you were talking about last month? So I actually made a point of this earlier, Grandy. I said that, as mentioned in one of my previous videos, I had said that there was entirely a possibility of a delay happening because the individual who I had the conversation with told me that it was possible, but from what his sources were telling him, that the expectation was end of February, early March. Wow, I was having a stroke there for a second. And in terms of an actual date for if there would be delays, obviously we wouldn't know until he gave us a definitive date. So just to kind of give you a little bit of a backtrack, or not a backtrack, sorry, a back in time, I don't know what I'm trying to say. Basically, there was one time where he told me that Chilling Reign, back in the day in 2021, when Wave 2 got delayed, he informed me and said, hey, Wave 2 is getting delayed from June. The expectation is it's going to come out in September instead, right? Ends up getting delayed. Hey, it's not coming out in September. It's actually coming out in October. Gets delayed. Doesn't come in October, then ends up coming out in November. Comes out in November. So, initially speaking, we got information that there was going to be delays for a second wave of Chilling Reign, and then we got information that it was going to be coming out at a certain time. It didn't come out at that certain time, but it did eventually come, right? So my expectation is it's probably going to be the same, right? It's going to be, hey, we have news that there's going to be reprints coming for booster boxes. The expectation is it's going to come around the time of late February, early March. However, with that being said, there's always an expectation that it's entirely possible reprints could end up coming. So basically, I would say that for me personally, until we have an actual definitive date on the reprint, we can't at this moment in time, since we're obviously past the February, early March, give a definitive answer on what the reprint date is going to be. However, looking at what has happened historically, the reprints did end up coming. We just couldn't nail down the exact date until we had confirmation from distribution and other individuals. My personal belief, as I said before, is I think that it's probably going to happen sometime after the Scarlet and Violet base set release, because it just makes the most sense from a financial perspective for the Pokemon company to do that. I see. So a guy knew a guy who knew a guy knew a No. So a distributor who works with the distribution centers who work with the Pokemon company. So that's just how it is. Basically, if you're asking for my sources are usually several fold. I usually get sources from LGSs. I get sources for other insiders or quote unquote Poketubers, and I get my sources from distributors. Those are the 3 sources I usually get my information from. This specific source came from a sales rep from one of my distributors that I work with closely. He has been extremely accurate on calling reprints in the past. He's been extremely accurate on just generally speaking, when reprinted products coming. Obviously, there's been some times where there's been delays, and that has obviously, made what he said incorrect. But at the end of the day, those prints that he did say were coming did end up indeed coming. And so that's kind of where I am with that, is I trust the guy, I trust my source, and that's kind of it. Just playing with you, my guy. Keep up the good work. No, you're all good, brother. It's Grandy, not Grande. Oh my gosh, I'm struggling. I'm sorry, man. It's hard because from my personal experience, when I see someone who has a Patriots logo on their YouTuber icon, I usually assume the worst of them because Patriots are kind of the scum of the... No, I'm just kidding. Just starts going and just goes after you being Patriots, man. Oh my gosh. But no, in all seriousness, though, obviously that is kind of my expectation for reprints. What do you think about Lost Origin Build and Battle Display Sealed? I have a few of these 80 packs tempted to open. Will these appreciate similar to booster boxes? I mean, build and battles displays will definitely not appreciate anywhere near as good as booster boxes. No question about it. We've actually done breakdowns of this multiple times. I wish it wasn't this way because, yeah, it just kind of sucks. The products, build and battles themselves are not, they're just not effective in terms of their overall return when you look at the entry price to buy them. That is kind of the biggest problem. Right, because if you go look right now and you say Lost Origin, the price for the, where is it? The Lost Origin Build and Battle box display, right? So if you're wanting to go buy one right now, it's about $100, and just so that we can confirm, it is $160. So doing our math, the wholesale price for that is $120. So we say 120, 160, 40, 120. Is about a 33% increase. That's a good increase, right? But now let's do the math. 139 minus 86. 53. 53 divided by 86. There's a massive difference. The percentage yielded over a booster box is almost double. Dude, what is the Pokemon company in America even doing right now? Are they putting literally anything out? The answer is no. Not really. It's kind of sad. They did put out some new V-Striker tins that does have a bunch of Evolving and Brilliant. I will be announcing that shortly on the wholesale program that I will be doing. I will obviously have to limit it, sadly. I hate having to, but I'm going to have to limit it to some customers. But that's at least something they're pushing out, kind of. But I don't know. It's kind of a bummer. They just being chilling indeed. Go work for Eli and ask him to take at Pokemart USA Public, then ask for employee stock purchase programs and annual stock grants. Get out of here. I ain't ever going public. Frick that, man. I feel like there's just no shot they just don't reprint it. I'd be surprised if they did. I finally found one LGS in El Paso. There's nothing but GameStops around here, and they don't count. Oh, that kind of sucks, iFOMO. I'm sorry. Agreed. I'm thinking the same thing, Eli. It makes sense to provide social reprints post SV release. Because if you're saying to yourself you're going to have a new standard for wholesale and MSRP pricing, it makes the most sense for you to let that price come into effect, and then as the price of the initial base set product runs up in value, then you do reprints, because to what we've come to an understanding, just from what Danny Phantom has said, and to my knowledge the Pokemon Company has said, The expectation is if they do reprint Sword and Shield product, they're reprinting it at the old wholesale price. So there's not really a general incentive for them to print at that cheaper price with MSRP and wholesale increasing. So if they're going to do so, they have to do it when the market prices are naturally more adjusted to the rate of the future wholesale and MSRP pricing, if that makes sense. What time frame between distro receiving product on the way of them? LGS is normal. For an LGS is different. They usually ship it out like a week early if it's an LGS. For most products, LGSs are able to get Pokemon out to the storefront usually within the week of. Sometimes the Monday of, sometimes the Wednesday of the release. It just depends. But obviously, it's technically illegal for the storefront to sell it until the release date, or else they're breaking contract. I mean, if you thought the price for the blister on TCG is worth it. Well, let's take a look. Let's take a look. Evolving Skies, sealed product. Blister for the Umbreon, it is insanely expensive in the silliest ways. Wow, dude. What? 38, 40, basically $50. Why? Why is it $50? That's insane. Let's go look at eBay. There's no way that it's not selling for cheaper on eBay. Really? Is it because it's an Umbreon? Is that why? That is wild to me that people are paying that much. Like, I understand it's an Umbreon, but like, you're paying a massive premium. I mean, what's the value of the holo even worth? In a near mint condition, it's selling for $3. What? Why would you pay for the blister? That just, I don't know. That just blows my mind. That seems way too expensive. I mean, it does really go to show you, though, the value that blisters can have with the promos. Holy crap. Especially considering it's an Umbreon. I mean, the difference between that and the ESQ is insane. I'm actually curious. What is it going for in a 10? So it's saying $94, $100 for the most recent one. What's the pop on this? Sold for $80-ish, $80-ish, around $80 to $100. Dang, that's kind of crazy. $80 to $100 for a freaking Romo? That's insane, dude. I hate the current regime of the Pats. Anyway, carry on. No, I just was giving you crap. I mean, here's my thing. I just dislike whoever's on top. Whoever's just winning everything is who I don't like. The Patriots, as an organization, were winning a lot, so I didn't like them. The Chiefs are an organization that are now winning a lot, so I don't like them. That's just kind of how it is. And I just like underdogs. And to actually, you know what? This is what I really like the most. I like individuals and I like teams that have not won Super Bowls. Individuals that haven't won Super Bowls, who I like rooting for, I want them to win Super Bowls. And teams that have never won Super Bowls, I want them to win Super Bowls. Bengals, they've never won a Super Bowl in franchise history. I want them to win a Super Bowl. Bills, they've never won a Super Bowl in franchise history. I want them to win a Super Bowl. Stuff like that. Certain players, George Kittle, he's never won a Super Bowl. I would love to see him win a Super Bowl. Like stuff like that. You know what I mean? What is the likelihood that TBCI is limited distributing or focusing more on big retail? I think it's just limited. I think it's neither. I think it's not limited distributing. I don't think it's focusing more on big retail. I think it's just like kind of what I've been saying about them just waiting for Scarlet Violet. We need chilling like yours here in Europe. Different markets. Evolving Skies here is like $250 a booster box, but slowly climbing. But not like in the US markets. Yeah, I mean, obviously, it would be nice to be more in the know with the UK markets, but it's just so hard for me to keep up with that. Well, they put pre-orders for premium collections for CZ today. Ooh. Oh no, Limits. Did the last 2 packs bundle sell out limited too? It did. It sold out like immediately. It sold out super fast. I mean, here was my kind of thing. My thing was I said everyone can order a limited 2, and then after about a week is when I will open it up. So about 4 or 5 days went by, and then I opened it up to the rest of anyone else who wanted to purchase more, and then it just sold out. Got some V-Strikers today from Target. 2 Brilliant, 3 Evolving Skies, no hits. That hurts the heart. What are the cards in your background? Can you show us your prize cards? Poppy, I actually showed everyone all the cards on Tuesday's stream. So if you want to go to Tuesday's stream and like kind of just go back and look of everything, you can. I can do a video one of these days if you guys want me to kind of dissect some of my collection, if that's something you guys are obviously interested in. Is there money in opening old XY boxes and getting promos graded? I know XY is hard era. Yes, there totally is money. I think that in particular, if you look at some of the like, God, I always mess this up every single time. I always forget the name of the set. Generations. I think there's some Generations promos that are worth it. So like, for example, if you look at the Darkrai XY promo from Generations, I absolutely love that card, first and foremost. But let's just go take a look at the card in and of itself. It is as a promo. I mean, there's totally money to be made in promos. You just obviously have to know the right ones. So this card is the Darkrai XY promo. So Darkrai XY 14. PSA 10. So it most recently sold in a 10 condition for on auction 145, then sold again for around 115. Sold selling for roughly around $100. So if you can get this card and send it in for grading, and you're spending roughly around $6-7, and you can hopefully, in theory, get it in a good condition, then you can make money. But obviously, you have to trust the process that you're going to get it for that good. Now, in terms of the actual Darkrai promo box itself, that, on the other hand, is much more expensive. Much more expensive. So you're going to be spending upwards of $110 to get this item. $100-ish dollars. You know, best case scenario, maybe $90. And to do that, obviously, you're going to, this is what it includes. It includes 2 Generations booster packs. So when it comes to opening up the product to try and get the promo graded, it doesn't make the most sense. You might as well just buy it raw at that point and kind of hope that one of those is going to hit a 10 versus paying that extra premium for XY era promos. Personally, is kind of what my thoughts are. Trinell says, time to sell my blisters. Eli, Umbreon, buy out next. Yeah, right. Hey, I'm just saying, when you notice things like these in the market, shout out to, who was the person that, Sir Mac. Shout out to Sir Mac for pointing that out. People have been buying Evolving Skies blisters for at least $40 since November, at least a year. Your P-Tran deals is only in the US, I'm guessing. No, so it's not exclusive to the US. We have individuals that live outside of the US, and if you want to, you can work with our middleman shipping services, which we do provide with our partners, and they give discounted shipping rates. Or if you want to use your own discounted shipping rate services on your own, then you can. Just have to let us know where we're going to ship to them. So that's kind of how we do everything in terms of payment structure. Obviously, everything has to be sent through PayPal since you are sending it outside the US, either that or Wise. Just remember there's a reason why they're low pop. The printing, the holding it was in everything is against the odds to get a 10. I mean, it doesn't surprise me. I mean, it totally makes sense. It totally makes sense to that regard. But I don't know. I mean, that's how it is with promos. They've gotten better over time with promos, but the cuts still can be brutal for promos. It can be absolutely terrible. But yeah, when I look at this card and I'm like, I think this is such a cool card. Obviously the yellow borders are a little poopy, but like other than that, if I could get this one in a 10 by sending in for grading, that'd be cool. How difficult is it? Who knows? But all right, so here's the situation, ladies and gentlemen. I will be ending the stream a little bit early, so we're gonna be wrapping it up this is gonna be the last 5 minutes. I just have some stuff I have to take care of today, just because I will be leaving on Saturday for a wedding. So today and tomorrow, I'm going to be basically trying to get ahead of that, since all weekend I will be gone until Monday for the spending time with family in California. So and it's only like I'm only ending 10 minutes early. It's not like it's like a whole hour, but you guys get the point. But yeah, so any and all of your guys' questions that you have now before we end the stream, let me know. Or of course discussion points. I love Darkrai though. Darkrai is one of my favorite Pokemon cards. You guys want to talk about, obviously, you know, my cool collection. I would love to get a Darkrai level X in a PSA 10 condition. I just have one of the holo versions in a 10, as well as the Cresselia. But I love this promo. I think this is such a cool promo. I was honestly such a huge fan in the Diamond and Pearl era of the held items Pokemon had. I think that's such a cool concept personally. I love it so much. I think Darkrai by far had its best prints in the Diamond and Pearl era. I think the Diamond and Pearl holos for the Darkrai were gorgeous. So cool. They were such cool promos. And then I think the EX era kind of did them dirty. Like, I don't know what the frick this is. Like, this is kind of garbage. Like, what's going on here, right? And then in the Black and White XY era, only that promo is really what I like. I mean, God, even the GX era just did him so dirty. Just kind of sad to see. You've had some cool ones, but just the kind of art style for him has just changed so much. Like I've always liked him cartoonish wise, or like sketched like the legendary cards. They did do good, I will say, with some of the promos for like the tag team. I think this is a really cool promo. I'm going to miss the last 10 minutes. You owe me 10 minutes next time. Hey, fair enough, fair enough. Hey, to be fair, also was a little bit of a slower stream today, so not like thousands of questions that were being asked. Usually, we've gotten to a point where I spend quite a bit of time catching up on questions, but today, I'm all caught up, man. All caught up, not really much to ask. But, well, it doesn't look like we've got any more questions. Okay, we got one last question from Zisco. What's some Pokemon content you would love to see on YouTube? On YouTube? Ooh, Pokemon content I would love to see on YouTube. Ooh, that's a good question. I would love to see more openings for older product that is, obviously, this is just biased, in the EX, Diamond and Pearl, and Black and White era. I feel like I don't see that as often. Obviously, Pokerev kind of does his breaks, and every so often he opens that era, but I feel like the majority of the hobby, it's usually in the WotC era. Like, that's what I would say. And, like, actual, like, booster box openings. Is your bookkeeper family? Pretty much. She is your bookkeeper family? Pretty much. She isn't family, but we treat her like family. Dude, why is Mewtwo V-Star so much in English, but Japanese Mewtwo is like half the price? Probably because the supply is so much higher in Japan since it's easier to get. Is the hot ES product only ES, or does it have mixed packs? It has mixed packs. All right, we're going to wrap it up here, ladies and gentlemen. Want to thank you guys all so much once again for stopping by. Make sure you leave a like, comment down below, and subscribe to the YouTube channel. We post pre-recorded content videos so each and every week. I, as always, am Eli with Pokemart USA. If you want to join our Discord, links down in the description below for that, or to follow us on any of our other socials. But thank you guys.